Hi BookTube! I'm here today with my February wrap-up and my March TBR. So for February, I read 6 books, I think it is. Let me check my list. I should have done that first. I read 7 books. Seven books in February. 5 of those books were from Canada Reads, which are here. I've already uploaded my review on them. I will also, when Canada Reads comes along, do a video after that to express my feelings on what happens. I don't know what happens yet because it's not until next week it starts. I'll put a link below to where you can watch it. It's on CBC. You can listen online, or I think you can watch online as too. I know after it's over you can watch it online. But yeah, anyways. So the 5 books that I read for Canada Reads in February were When Everything Feels Like the Movies by Raziel Reed, Intolerable, A Memoir of Extremes by Kamal Al-Salali, Rue by Kim Thuy, The Inconvenient Indian, A Curious Account of Native People in North America by Thomas King, and The Birds Rain Down by Jocelyn Saucier. And I was very iffy about some of them. I didn't like some of them, but I really did enjoy these 2. The Inconvenient Indian, non-fiction novel, and The Birds Rain Down, which is a beautiful book with beautiful language. Everything about this book is beautiful, actually. I should have said the paper inside is texturized, and it's really nice. It's a really nice book to hold. Yeah, and then I read Household Tales by the Brothers Grimm, the original versions of the stories, for a class I was taking. I mean, it's the Brothers Grimm, what can you say about them? I read a copy that had very beautiful illustrations. Yeah, it was a good book. And then, on my ebook reader, I'm just going to find it here. Not that the picture's up or anything, I'm just going to show you the reader. I read Gold's Book of Fish, which I really want now in a physical copy because it is such a beautiful book. I can go on and on and on about how wonderful this book is, but I'm going to do a separate review for that. So that's what I read in February. Now it's already almost halfway through March, but I wanted to finish Gold's Book of Fish, but I also didn't want to finish Gold's Book of Fish, which is why it took me quite a while to get through it, because, you know, when you read those books that are really nice, you don't want them to end. But I do have over here my pile of books for, as I knock everything over, for March. Well, some of them anyways. Some of the other ones are on the shelves here. So I'm currently listening to Trigger Warning by Neil Gaiman. Neil Gaiman reads it. I shouldn't really be listening to it while driving because his voice is hypnotic and beautiful, and sometimes you just get lost in the story and forget where you're going, and it's not necessarily a good thing, but it's beautiful so far. I really enjoyed the Sherlock story. I'm a huge fan of Sherlock and all his different formations and everything, and I really liked this story of Sherlock going off and keeping bees. But anyways, I've also, I just finished Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel, my really kind of first physical book of March. I'm going to do a review of that. This, very quickly, is a story, a kind of dystopian story, where we're kind of following a different cast of characters and how they're dealing with life after the world ends, kind of, and with like flashbacks to before it ended, kind of everywhere in between. So yeah. And then I'm going to pick up a book that's not here. but I have it somewhere. It's called The Idiot by Fyodor Dostoevsky. I've already read Crime and Punishment, and I picked up The Idiot a while ago, but I never finished it. I only think I got about like 30-50 pages in. And it's a book that I've wanted to read. I really love Russian literature, and I kind of really wanted to see where he goes with this story. I really don't know what it's about, but it's by Dostoevsky, so I guess you can guess that it's probably some kind of Russian kind of character story or philosophical type novel type thing that you expect from Dostoevsky. And then I will be reading A Lion Among Men by Gregory Maguire. This is the third book in the Wicked series. I'm sure you all know about Wicked. If not, it's a retelling of The Wizard of Oz, but it's kind of like the backstory more so, I guess, of the Wicked Witch. I've read Son of a Witch, which I also really enjoyed, and I'm guessing this one's about the lion. I'm just gonna show you. I really like how he does all his books kind of like this with the dust jacket, and then underneath you have this really beautiful book underneath. So yeah, I'm guessing this one's about the lion and something's falling. There we go. Okay. Then I will be reading a book that's somewhere here. I know it's here, I just don't know where. Anyways, The Brief Wondrous Life of Oscar Wilde by Junot Diaz. I'm pretty sure everyone has heard of this book on BookTube. I have no idea what it's about. I kind of like going into books like that, kind of not really knowing too much about it, and kind of just letting the book kind of surprise me almost along the way. Yeah, that's one thing I didn't like about Station 11, is that they kind of give away the whole story on the front panel here. It's like, oh, okay. Well then now what's the point of reading? But so that's why I don't really know a lot of the plots of these right now. Then I want to read The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. I know I'm a few years behind on this, but it's one of those books that's been sitting on my shelf that I've been like, oh, I eventually want to get to that book, and I am now. And then I will be reading Monster Calls by Patrick Ness. I'm hoping to get this done in one day because there's a lot of these full page illustrations in here. And I, again, have no idea what this is about. I just know that it was very popular on BookTube a while ago, and that there's some really pretty pictures in here. I like this little rabbit. I don't know if you can make that out. Yeah, I even like that the illustrations like come on to the written text. I don't know. So, then this is actually the first reread where I'm seriously going to sit down and read the book front to back that I've done in a long time. And it's because I want to continue on with the series, but I can't really remember what happened in the first book. So this is The King of Wise. This is volume 1, so it has the first 2 books. Roma Mater and Galinsine. I also have volume 2. This is by Paul and Karen Anderson, a husband-wife team working together. It's about a Roman, as far as I can remember, a Roman centurion, or maybe he's a bit higher up, I think, kind of becomes king of this area. I'm vaguely remembering it, where he kind of inherits the kingdom and 7 different wives. And they're all at like different stages in their life. They're not like all like virgins type thing. Like there's older women and there's younger women and there's women in between, and they all have different, personalities and everything. And I really enjoyed it, but I just never really kept on with it. So over the next few months, I plan on reading half the volume, one of the books each time. So this one is, let's see, 348 pages. Yeah, so that's going to be interesting. If I then have time, I'd like to read East of Eden by John Steinbeck. This is just, a classic of Steinbeck's. I've read his shorter works. Now it's time to move on to the Beasts. And then again on this shelf somewhere, I have a book called The Poe Shadow by Matthew Pearl, which was recommended to me by a friend in real life. I do have those. And it's about the death of Edgar Allan Poe because it was kind of mysterious. And I've read all of Poe's work, and I love his poetry, absolutely adore his poetry. So I thought this would kind of be a good story to kind of get into. And then lastly, as I've been saying every month, but I've never got around to it, I want to read on my e-reader, because I have all the Discworld novels on ebook format. I want to read Mort by Terry Pratchett, which is the first, it's not the first novel in the Discworld series, but it's the first in the Mort, in the Death sub-series. And I read The Hogfather, and I really enjoyed the character of Death, and I kind of want to read those. So that's my plan for March. And I know that's quite a bit, but I have been plowing through reading. I do have like a schedule set up. I'll be done probably the first week of April with these. That's how my reading seems to go. I kind of fade off into other months. But yeah, that's my reading, what I have read and what I plan on reading. Let me know what you're reading in March, if you've read any of these books, what you thought about them. And remember to tweet me. Tweet me. I love being tweeted at. All the links are in the description bar of Instagram, and I don't update Goodreads. I should probably delete that one. But Instagram and Twitter, I'm on there all the time. So remember to keep on reading.